Hi, my name is Ryan Hoyme, aka Massage Nerd, and in this video I'll be instructing using only my forearms. So the term forearm massage, it's not just massaging just with the forearms, but I'll use my elbows some, forearms, maybe a little bit of my palms, especially to put on the oil on the body. But sometimes when you hear the term forearm massage, you're thinking, oh, that person's just going to massage my forearm. But no, I'm using my forearms to massage the body. So that's why you can think of different kind of names to classify this whole treatment by. But I like the whole term forearm massage. Some people call it no-hand massage. I've heard of that term too. But with that, they think it's more like energy work if they know anything about energy work. But they're just using the forearms throughout the whole body. And this is kind of similar to like lomi-lomi in a way. But again, we're using more of our forearms than anything else in the body. Also, other options is like Esalen style, based out of like the California region. That's when you're going to use more of the longer techniques with the forearms. And with the forearm, make sure your wrist is relaxed when you're massaging, because you don't want to kind of tense it up when you're massaging, because that's when you can injure yourself. So that's why I make sure it's relaxed. Of course, not so relaxed, but just make sure it's relaxed when you're using it, when you're going back and forth with the forearms. And with guys, if you have a lot of hair, make sure you use more of your flexor side to massage the body. So it's going to help yourself. And a little test, what I tell my students when I instruct them to use these kind of techniques is go back and forth, kind of like a snake bite, just for a little bit to see your fascia, your muscles, and everything else, how tight it is. But after an hour or so of massaging like this, it's going to be so relaxed, so it is helping you out in the long run too, especially if you have problems in your forearm regions like most massage therapists do. These techniques are going to give you a lot of breaks then. But you just got to be careful of your shoulders internally rotating too much like this, so you're making like the Hulk, but make sure it's more relaxed when you're using it. But if every now and then you might want to stretch your shoulders back, make sure you stretch out the pec area so you're not so internally rotated using these kind of techniques. But again, when they're in the prone position, you can easily stretch, but just don't make the sound like kind of thing when you're stretching. Just make sure you're just nice and slow and relaxed then. So with that, we'll get started with the video, and I'll be instructing starting on the back then. Thank you. Okay, all these techniques, what I'm going to be using, you can incorporate them into other techniques or connect one technique into the next technique right away. But again, for educational purposes, I'll show one technique, and I'm not going to show the transition as much. Maybe at the end I'll show a little bit of transition, what it actually looks like. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you what it actually looks like then, kind of slow motion as much as possible then. Okay, first one, let's go over the Daedron sites. So right here, the vertebrae, of course, don't use a lot of pressure over there. And you might see me go over the vertebrae a lot with my forearms, but I'm going to try to use more of my flexor side, and then I'm not going to use as much pressure when I go over those areas. And right here, around the scapula, make sure you're not using as much pressure, especially if you're using your elbow in that area, because again, it's more of a deep bruise, or right on the iliac crest here. So those are the areas to be more aware of when you're using this forearm massage. So to start off with, you can again use more of your hands to spread out the oil or the cream or whatever things that are using to massage the body to get it on there. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to go up right around the iliac crest, rotate around, make sure your wrist is relaxed, and then just go right straight down. Okay, again, go up, hook it right here, but again, not into the vertebrae. Go up and hook it, make sure your wrist is relaxed, and go right through there. And when you slide it back, you can slide with your hands if you want, or you can slide with your forearms. Another option, I'm going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to go up, around, and you can go rotate it down like this then. But if you think you're hitting the arm too much, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the arm off the table or just right to the side, because I want to be able to get into the trap area. So the arm is just right here to the side then. So again, you can go up here, hook it around, or you can go up here, hook it around this way. So you can make a massage move right out of that. Just go back and forth then. Next technique we're going to use our supinate and then pronate. So supinate, pronate, supinate, pronate. So again, I'm going right over the vertebrae, but I'm not using as much pressure then. So you can use it both at the same time or opposite, like this then. Next technique, I'm just going to place my hand right on the vertebrae, so my whole arm is on the vertebrae. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right above the iliac crest like this, dig in a little bit. I'm going to come back off, hardly any pressure right on the vertebrae, and then hook it again. So back and forth. And if you think your hand's going around too much, you can just place your hand on here, like that then. Next option, you can just go up, 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 or you can kind of pull it back too, okay? Using more of your flexors, of course. Okay, next option, I'm going to go right around the traps. I'm going to go right around like this. Just make sure your wrist is kind of relaxed. Or, same idea, but kind of vibrate a little bit. Just make sure your hand is relaxed when you're vibrating. And if you can go up and kind of hook it even more. So you hook in the traps even more like that then. Next option, you can just keep going back and forth up the body like this. Okay, next option, I'm going to go one forearm goes up, and one forearm goes down the body. It's like this. So again, my forearms, and it's more the flexor side, the flat side. And again, it looks like I'm using pressure on the vertebrae, but I'm not. Okay, next one. Just rotate it back and forth. And just kind of rocking movement. If you want, you can have more of your side of your palm in there too, so you can get a little bit of technique that way. So the goal again is if you ever injure your thumb, your fingers, or your wrist is hurting a little bit, you can still get massages for this. And the nice thing about these techniques, they're a little bit softer, a little bit more broader, so it's not as much pressure in one area, and it's not going to burn you out as much too. So the next one, I call it the steamroller. Remember how we went up here, here, rotated down. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to use my forearm and then my palm to push down for more pressure if you need. So go up, go down, like this then. Up, here, and down. Next one, we're going to use, just rotate it over. But just make sure, you're kind of using bad body mechanics, but just kind of lean over, and just kind of rotate back then. But I myself, I'm performing a stretch for my own body when I'm using these techniques then. Again, just going back. The next one, like a ratchet. Or you can immediately rotate lateral rotation, nothing. Medial rotation, lateral rotation, nothing. Medial rotation, lateral rotation, nothing. Medial rotation, lateral rotation, nothing. So again, rotate it up, nothing. Rotate it up, nothing. Rotate it up, nothing. Another option, so you can go flexion, slide, extension, nothing. Flexion, slide, extension, nothing. Flexion, slide, extension, nothing. So again, flexion, slide, extension, nothing. Flexion, slide, extension, nothing. Flexion, slide, extension, nothing. For the shoulder region, what we're going to do is I'm going to go up, hook, up, hook, up, hook, up, hook. Or you can go down, hook, down, hook, down, hook, down, hook. Another option, right through here, we're just going to use our whole forearm, and you can even go kind of hook it, the suboccipital ridge area. And with this, you can kind of push the shoulder down a little bit too. So not down to the table, but down to their feet area. And again, I'm just holding the hair back just so I'm not going to get oil in the hair. Okay, next one. You can kind of rock, push up and down a little bit. And these moves, they can be made into more of a Swedish style or deep tissue style. So the only thing is, if you want a deeper tissue, you're just going to slow it down a lot more. But if you want more Swedish, not as much pressure, I'm just using it on these areas then. Okay, again, we're going to move the arm to the side so you're not going to rest their arm against your body at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and forth. Just try it with your body mechanics. Just make sure you try to keep your back as straight as possible. You might even want to raise up the table higher for these kind of techniques because you're using more of your forearm with this then. Okay, next one, I'm going to go right above the iliac crest like this. But again, not a lot of pressure over the vertebrae. Forearm shingles like this. And you can even massage yourself a little bit. And again, you can use your hands every now and then, but it's not the major technique for most of these. And again, you're kind of massaging yourself a little bit too during this. Okay, next one. Let's rock it back and forth. Make sure your hand is relaxed. If you just want to rock back and forth like this, and you can even massage yourself a little bit too. Or if you're really bored, as you can see like this, you can massage yourself. They can't see you. Gives you a little break then. And another option is you can stretch. So you can stretch out your back or your shoulder. So I'm just leaning back. But just make sure you don't go kind of thing when you're stretching like most people do. Okay, next option. We're going to use the elbow. They kind of vibrate. And you can even kind of slide right into the iliac crest there. So just slide right into the iliac crest. Again, make sure your wrist is relaxed during this. Okay, next one, you're going to go here and hook right into there too. Hook. Hook. Okay, next one, you're just going to hook right into the lumbar region. Or you can kind of rotate and hook into the iliac crest area too. Or you can go away if you want to perform more broadening techniques in that area. But you can make kind of a dance out of this stuff too. So you just go back and forth. Kind of like you're boxing in a way, if you want to look at it that way. Okay, next one. I'm going to put my forearms on the body and just pull up all the way to the suboccipital ridge. If you want, you can incorporate a little bit of your knuckles. You can hook there at the end. But again, people that have real hairy forearms, it's going to be a little bit harder. That's why, again, you use more of your flexor side. Or you can kind of rock up the body like this. Or kind of inch up a little bit. Or you can even kind of do a wave. You can even go down, opposite side, and then pull up. Down, opposite side, and pull up. Or other option, you can go start here, here, and back down. Here, back down. If you're going to incorporate anything into the arms, you can bring the arm out like this. You can use your forearm like this, right on the tricep area. And you can even kind of massage with the forearm like this too. So again, it's more broad techniques. It's not going to be as painful, but again, if you want deeper work, you're going to place your hand and perform like a sandwich in a way, so it's a little bit deeper work that way. Or you can kind of rotate it back and forth then. You can even kind of vibrate it. Or another option, what we're going to do is put our hand underneath here like this to lift it up. So you can go right on the tricep area, even down to the flexors of the forearm. Or you can place their hand on top of their head, like this. But I'm going to go to the other side to demonstrate it. So again, place the hand right here, and lift up here. And my whole forearm is going to go right through the trap area. If you want to leave a little bit more pressure, you're lifting up each time you go through there. Lift it up, relax it. Lift it up, relax it. Okay. So again, with this, you're just going to one technique into the next with the back area. And just move a little bit too. So get a little bit of rhythm with it. And it's a little bit more of a dance with you if you're going to use more Swedish techniques. And for more deeper work, structural integration kind of things, I'm just going to go really slow. So after a few minutes, it's going to be up here. So I'll just demonstrate that for a little bit. But this way, make sure you're looking at their fingers is a big area. Watching the body, make sure it's not tensing up. So again, if you want, you can even go slower than that too. Or when you go, you can just kind of rock it a little bit really slow too. In rocking it, you can even just rock just your wrist then. Just your wrist back and forth. Or you can make a deportment. And each of these techniques, try to performing on each side of the body 3 times at least. So after I'm done performing this technique, I might go to the other side. Or some people will perform 10 to 15 techniques on one side and then go to the other side and perform the same techniques if you're performing more of a Swedish style massage then. Okay, elbow, if you want just the elbow. I'm just going to glide my palm here. And the palm is just a guidance. I'm not massaging at all with that. But with the elbow, that's where I'm going to try to get into areas so you don't slip. Or you perform a deportment this way too. Or like this if you don't want it not as loud. Kind of flicking friction action if you want. This is more of a stimulating technique, but again, the longer you perform this technique, the more relaxed it'll be for the person. So you can even perform a heat friction. But if they have a lot of oil, you can go really fast. If they have less oil, make sure you go slow because you can actually burn them then. So like a rub burn. And if you want, you can even use your knuckle, forearm, elbow, like this. Or even rotate it like this. If you want, you can open up your hands a little bit so they can even feel your flexors of your forearm, the muscles. So even though it doesn't feel like a different technique, but it actually is for the client because you're using your muscles, your forearm muscles more. You're pretending that you're grabbing something, but they're feeling a little bit different than that way. So again, you want, with oil, you want moderate amount, but not too much you're going to slip, but not so less amount that you're going to burn them then. These kind of techniques then. Okay, next one, we're going to go comfort like this. So it's like this, like I drew me a genie. Or you can even do a little rock too. So you can rock the fascia then. Okay, next one. Kind of flick it back. Again, if they're in a deep sleep, don't use this technique, of course, but if you want to be woken up a little bit or a little bit more stimulating technique. Okay, next one. Just wave your hand back and forth. Use more the extensor side of your forearm. Or you can go back and forth too. So ulnar deviation, radial deviation, back and forth. But if you have really hairy forearms, probably not a good idea for this technique. Otherwise it's going to feel like you're exfoliating them. Or you can go kind of rotate your you're going to pop it. Or you can perform like shiatsu. Again, make sure your wrists are relaxed. But again, I'm only demonstrating one side of the body, but make sure you demonstrate on the perform the techniques on the other side too to even them out as much as possible. So we can twist, 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 twist too. Again, each technique at least 3 times if possible, for them to be able to feel those areas. Okay. Then this one, I'm going to go up, then I'm going to go down the palm, down the arm, down the palm then. So again, go up, and I'll just lift the arm up to demonstrate. I'm going to go down like this, all the way to the palm with the forearm. So up, and down like this then. And you can end, if you want, with your elbow right in the palm. So again, like this, elbow right in the palm, but on the table, of course, you can get a little bit more pressure. So you just go back and forth, kind of twist it if you want, or you can just go up and down slow, or just hold that area too. So those are different options that you can incorporate into the palm area. Deportment, like this, with the forearm, but just make sure again your wrists are relaxed. Another one, squeeze. So you can perform this anywhere. Okay, next one, we're going to go up and right into the axillary region. So, right into this area, we're going to kind of stop there for a moment. So just go up, and instead, you remember some of the techniques we went around this way, right through the rhomboids? The other ones we're going to go right through the rotator cuff and stop right there. So we're going to go here, go way around, and stop right there. You can hold out there a little bit too. But when you're working in this area, just be careful of them if they ever complain about their fingers tingling, because you're cutting off nerve supply then that way. Okay, and you can even kind of rest just one area. Just roll it. You even rock your body too, kind of a little dance again with your body. But again, more oil the better, but not too much that you're slipping too much. And again, just back and forth. We're in the quadriceps lumborum, or you can just kind of push into that area. But again, people that have a lot of lower back pains, feels great in this area. So make sure you pay attention to this area as much as you can. Because I'm not pushing straight down in the kidneys, of course. I'm just pushing into the vertebrae, but not over the vertebrae, just to be safe. Okay, so that concludes with some back techniques, and now we'll move on to the leg techniques. Okay, now we're going to use the forearm techniques on the leg, so the posterior part of the leg, so the calf, hamstring region. And with this one, you can just make sure your wrist is relaxed, and just go up and down the calf, remember the gastrocnemius soleus region, or you can even go all the way up. Again, when I'm coming back, I'm not using it as much pressure. So I'm just going up, and try to move your body too with these techniques. A really nice technique is I'm going to go my forearm right through the arch and go up. And then you can come back down right through the arch again. So again, right through the arch. Again, right through the arch, right here. You can go up and down a little bit. Or you can kind of rock it back and forth. So as long as they're comfortable with it, you can take out the bolster, so it's a little bit more easier to move the leg a little bit. But some people are not flexible at all, so you might have to have at least a half bolster. Or another option is, if you don't have that small a bolster, just roll up a towel and put it underneath the ankles then too. So you can even go back and forth and work your way up a little bit each time with the forearms. Or you can go like this. 1, 2, 3. Or if you want any deeper work, you're just going to go really slow. Or even better one, I'm going to rotate like this. And again, watch your fingers, watch your toes, that's where they're going to tense up. An area where you should not use a lot of pressure is the popliteal area again. So right behind the knee, that's where you should not use a lot of pressure, of course. You can perform some development too. And if you don't want the sound, you can just vibrate it up and down. Otherwise, you can kind of rock it up too this way. Otherwise, you can, or just move around a little bit like this then. Another option is you can just hold like this. So just you're holding it like this. And you can even bring it this way a little bit. Or you can go right through there. And you can even go right to the arch area too. But just make sure when you're done with the whole massage, make sure you wipe off their bottom of the feet the most. Especially if they're having they're wearing like flip-flops or something, or if they're not wearing socks at all, their feet are going to slip around in their shoes a lot. So just make sure you wipe those areas off, just to be safe then. So you can even perform a little shimmy, or you can go like this, and make sure the tibia bone, make sure you're not using a lot of pressure there. It's more lateral to that, so it's a way closer to your body. Or you can go the medial portion with that too. Or another option, so you can just give them a little pull this way. Or you can kind of hold and go up. Or you can go across with just your forearm then. If you want, you can kind of rotate the leg. Okay, now for the glute region, just going to expose just the side of the glute here. And you can incorporate long techniques all the way into the glute. And the problem is, as you can see the hand here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring the hand off like this. I'm going to go up and right around the greater trochanter. So the greater trochanter, that's a bony area right here, and the way you can find it, you go move it back and forth, and it's a ball and socket. So what we're going to do is we're going to start down at the foot area here. We're going to go up, just like we did before, and go all the way up to the glute. And then we can go the other way, like this, all the way down, like right through there then. So again, back, and forth. But a lot of the techniques we already use you can incorporate into the glute. So you can even go like this all the way up, even right into the glute region. Or you can use your elbow a little bit in the glute. You can even do a little rocking. So again, not on the greater trochanter. Make sure you know where that is, that bony landmark. Or you can just go right around there, like this. Or even kind of vibration. But if somebody's more obese, try to perform less vibration. Sometimes they might feel a little bit self-conscious about the adipose moving around more, so that's why maybe just more gliding for those kind of techniques, just to be safe then. And you can even go like a heat friction, even up and down, so you can incorporate the glutes and the hamstrings in. Or again, you can twist. Or you can even perform like this. Or even in the hamstrings if you want. Or you can kind of rock up and down. An area that you can concentrate on the glute, you just push into the sacrum more with your elbow. Just kind of rocking that area. So that's a huge area for lower back problems, where you can go there and twist it and bring it back a little bit. Here, twist it, bring it back. And again, I'm going away from the heart, but it's not a long area, it's just a little bit. Or if you want, you can go up a little bit and kind of hook it right at the iliac crest and the sacrum. So that little divot there, that where they meet, that's where you're going to concentrate on the most then. Or you can just kind of slide up and kind of hook right at that area too. Another option, what you can do is you can just bring the leg like this, hold right here to make sure nothing gets exposed, like this, and you can get more of the lateral side. So the TFL, also the biceps femoris. But some people are not that flexible, or what you can do is you can put a half bolster or a roll up a towel underneath their pelvic region to make it feel more comfortable in that area then. And I myself, I always do the Roman drape all the time, as you can see here. And you can even hold these two areas if you're going to do any kind of stretching, just to be safe so nothing is exposed then. And even if nothing's exposed, even if they get a little wind, they can feel uncomfortable with that, or it can kind of startle them a little bit with that cold wind. So that's why I make sure that you Roman drape if possible in these areas then. And to finish off areas, you can even perform even lighter techniques, nerve techniques. We can kind of dust them off in a way. Okay, so that concludes for the posterior part of the leg and the glute. Now we'll have them flip over and perform the anterior parts of the body then. How I'm going to flip her over is I'm going to put my quads against the sheet here. And you can just lift it up just a little bit here and have them scoot down off the headrest. And the shoulder that's close to you, have them lift up that shoulder and turn that. So, there you go. Easy turn. And you didn't even have to do any work then. So that's what's nice about it. Okay, now, with the forearm massage with the face, it is possible, but it's not realistic. So a lot of people just perform a regular face massage and maybe just use a little bit of the forearm in the face, but it's not the most ideal place for a forearm massage on the face area. So I'll show you some forearm massage techniques on the actual arm. So we're going to go like this. I'm going to drape like this. And what we're going to do for this is you can use your forearm going up here like this. going up, back down, up, back down. And this, if you need to, you can get on your knees a little bit, give yourself a little bit of break. It depends on how tall the table is, but it's a little bit harder on the arms. So again, some people just incorporate a regular massage onto the arms and the anterior part of the body just because it's a little bit easier than that way. Or you can go like this, go right in the antecubital area, but make sure you're not using a lot of pressure. You can go up in the bicep area like this. You can even kind of rotate it too this way. Or kind of give a little tug. You can even go kind of slide down like this then too. Or you can bend it a little bit to get more of the extensor side here. Or you can even incorporate a little bit of a shimmy, so even with your forearms. But again, it works a lot easier with your actual hands, but again, it depends what you're going to incorporate. And some people will just perform the hour just on the posterior part of the body with the forearm techniques, but make sure they're aware of it then, just to be safe. So you can just kind of rotate it too. In the palms, it's a little bit harder. So with the palms, you can even place your hand, use more of your elbow in this area too. Or even, I'm just holding the posterior part of the hand and just rotating up then this way. And again, more the flexor side, so there's not as much hair in that area then, just to be safe then, okay? So again, with the arm and hand, it's a lot easier to just incorporate just regular hands into there, and then more forearms just to the posterior part of the body. Or these techniques you can incorporate into regular massage just so you don't burn yourself out as much too. And if you notice people are more ticklish, the forearm works really nice for people, so it's not as ticklish then throughout. Okay, so I'm going to cover this up then. So for the leg area, what we're going to use is we're going to use a little bit of the forearm, but again, it's a lot easier just to use a regular massage with this, but you can use some of the forearm. But areas to be aware of is the patella right here, and also the tibialis right here. So the bone right here, make sure it's more pressure on the medial side or the lateral side. So you can, just like the posterior side, you can go up, going up and down, right through there. You can even go right through the quad area. Or you can kind of separate the quad, or more broaden that area. Or you can go back and forth too for the quad. For the adductor, you can kind of just lean in a little bit. Just lean in. Or for the TFL region, you want to make sure that the hand is moved a little bit so you're not going to hit that when you're going down. So you're going to go down like this. Always can just go back and forth, there might be heat friction. Or you can use a depultment tool in the legs. So other things that we use on other parts of the body, you can still use them too. That's what's nice about it. Okay, so you can go underneath and kind of slide like this. Or you can do more broadening, of course, in the medial calf area. Or if you want to go more of the tibialis anterior region, so make sure you know where the tibia bone is. And don't put any pressure on there, of course. You're just going down from there then. For the foot area, again, you can just hold the lateral and medial malleolus here and just go right through the arch, of course. And again, some of the techniques are a little bit easier in the posterior position for the feet. Otherwise, you can use a little bit of your forearm there, or you can incorporate regular massage techniques into these areas too. So again, you can actually use your hands for that too to make it a little bit easier. And if you want a little bit lighter to finish it off, you just use more of the forearm, more lighter. Or you can just do kind of a little vibration but light, just let them know that you're done. But again, all these techniques, make sure you even them out on the other side too. So especially if it's more of a fluff and buff, more of a relaxing massage, make sure each side is pretty equal. Otherwise, especially if they really like a certain technique, they want that technique performed on the other side too, so they can feel that. So again, that's with the forearm massage.